Nice, normal. Well, guess that's not as weird as last time. Well, better get busy lifting or get busy dying. All right, y'all, so when you do a pullover, standing with the rope, with the resistance coming from up here, you can't get all the way up here, but you get about halfway up. So it'll be somewhere around here, and then we get resistance in that lower part of the motion. So when we're on the bench, we're getting resistance through the upper part of the motion, right, from here to about here. And then when we're standing, we're getting the resistance from here to about here. So we're trying to utilize the one on the bench and the one where we're standing to hit the lats in sort of a full range of motion. All right, so something that inevitably comes up with this dumbbell pullover exercise on the bench, just a little wet spot there, on this dumbbell pullover is where your neck should go. So I try my best to film this myself. This is a bit of a neck training exercise. So you want to have enough space for like an apple or a fist or something. You just don't do like this, right, to keep your head up. But it's all right that you feel some strain here and here. Now, here's what I tell people. If you maybe work a desk job and you've got a lot of problems up and around there and there's a lot of strain and it's painful for you to hold your head up, then you can rest it on the bench or use the floor or whatever you need to do to support your head. But, and this is something I run into a lot with people. They say, well, this is uncomfortable. I say, does it hurt? Like, no, I just have to hold my head up. Well, hold your head up. All right, so the floor here is almost inevitably where I really start almost everybody with this exercise for a couple of reasons. A, it's the safest, it's the easiest way for them to get used to it. B, most people's shoulders are absolutely up to oblivion. Most people can barely even raise their shoulder from here to here. That's how messed up a lot of people's shoulders are. So I put them on the floor, I lay them on their backs, there's nowhere to fall, there's nowhere to go. And now they can just test that mobility against the floor. And that weight is gonna help take their shoulder that's so messed up that they can't raise it themselves from here to here. And it's gonna very lightly just challenge it and let it drop back into that position a bit more naturally. So the reason you wanna do these on the floor is to work your range of motion comfortably, as well as if you have shoulder problems or you're some of my clients that literally cannot because of surgical reconstructive shoulder surgery type reasons actually get their shoulders all the way back there. This is a great option. So some people will say they'll hate on the dumbbell pullover and say, oh, the strength curve from here to here or whatever alters too much and blah blah blah. I don't care what anybody says. This is by far one of the most underrated exercises anybody, no matter what their goals, can do, is pullovers. Pullovers are great for shoulder health. They're great for They're great for shoulder health. They're great for back development. And they're absolutely one of the best ways you can expand that rib cage and really stretch out that chest. They're a great upper body exercise. Anybody who tells you otherwise, do not listen to them. Just do your pullovers. The world would be a better place if everybody did more pullovers of all kinds, any kinds. We don't discriminate here. Rope pullover, bench pullover, floor pullover, dumbbells, free weights, Nautilus machine, don't matter. Do your pullovers however you want to get them done. lot of times as your overall strength goes up, your relative strength goes down. Your overall strength is, how much you can lift. Your relative strength is how much you can lift relative to your own body weight. So relative strength would be things like pull-ups and push-ups. And a lot of times as we get bigger and stronger, we get weaker at doing those things. So it's great to keep things like pull-ups, push-ups, yada, 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 in your routine, no matter what your goals are at any point, because they keep you honest and they keep your relative strength up. And that's good for everybody, especially the world. So my pull-up right now is okay. I'm a bit light. I lost a bunch of weight recently, but kind of weak. So they're in that in-between zone. I swear I could probably do the most pull-ups when I was like a weak 185 pound, skinny little guy just getting in the gym for the first time. So pull-ups, great, do them. Number one thing to remember about pull-ups is I highly do not recommend let yourself get to full extension where your elbows are locked and then you start pulling yourself from there. A lot of people say this is how you got to do them. This is the full range of motion, yada, yada, yada. So many people have jacked their shoulders up and messed themselves up from there. So when you're locked out up top, hanging from a dead hang, your joints, your ligaments, your muscles, every other thing I can't think to mention, all those things are hanging off your grip, off your boat. Like basically you're stretched at the maximum extent you can be. So you're maximally stressed and you want to engage your muscle from that stretch point. That's fucked up a lot of elbows, that's fucked up a lot of shoulders, that's fucked up a lot of everything. I know lots of people who used to do that or did that regularly and they really messed themselves up. So number one thing to remember with pull-ups, don't lock out, have a little bend in the biceps still at the bottom. So your back should never truly release. It should basically be under tension pretty much the whole time. And I wouldn't go too wide. There's this old thing we used to all believe that the wider you go with your pull-ups, the more you're building width, and the narrower, the more you're building thickness or something like that. I would go about shoulder width, maybe a little bit outside. Anything further than that, you're just putting your bicep in a really weird compromised position. Anything more closer together is obviously a longer range of motion. So I like to go about shoulder width, maybe a little bit outside. Check it out. So any of you who have followed me for any amount of time know that I'm a huge fan of this move, the T-bar rows. Loading up the barbell with some weight, some weights, and rowing it towards your belly button. Now, what I like about this is because any exercise where the force is more centralized, especially a free weight exercise, because almost every free weight exercise we do is loaded with plates on the end, a bar or with free weights in our hands. So anytime you're actually pulling from a centralized location, splitting your body down the center, I think you get a little more out of it. Now you're gonna see in the successive sets how I like to treat this exercise. I like to treat it light and treat it almost more like a plank and getting those elbows to about even with my body instead of squeezing all the way back and retracting my lats all the way. And then when it gets heavy, I move a little weight. So this is one of the more traditional exercises that people get a bit sloppy on, including myself, that I actually think is extremely beneficial. And if you can manage to do them, they're great for your routine. So check out the way I do them, try them out, and make sure you like, comment, and subscribe about what you thought, however that works. Y'all, so let's talk about the rear deltoids. That's the back of your shoulder area right here, kind of tying into the top of your back. So one of the things you'll see in the gym most often done for rear delts is some variation of this exercise. That's all fine and dandy. I'm not gonna act like that doesn't recruit some rear delt, but I get you to put this thought into your mind. When we're pulling from across our body, so when we have to reach over here and pull over there, even though that's gonna recruit some rear delt, I think that's gonna recruit more up the back, because bringing that arm back from around your body is also gonna recruit some back. Now, anytime we try to isolate or work certain muscles, we can't truly isolate a muscle. Everything's gonna move, everything that needs to move back there that wants to move is gonna move to some extent. But if instead of doing this, coming from this point, what if you started from here and took it to there? From here and took it to there. The reason for that is, I don't think your rear delts are too heavily involved in this part. They're pretty much involved more, for me, in the way I feel it, from here to here. So, a version of this exercise I came up with is to grab more from right in line here and pull away from there. So I start from basically that line of my body just outside my shoulder and pull it back to about equal with my body. Check it out. So there you go, guys. There's a little tip. If you feel difficulty trying to engage with the back of your shoulders, try switching up where you're pulling from. Instead of pulling from here out to there, maybe start from here to there. Hope that works out for you guys. Let me know how it goes.